Welcome to the Cult Classic Horror Show. Every week, you can have the conversations you've always wanted to have about the films you love.
Shut up!
We're gonna get you. Not another peep.
Get rid of your distractions and prepare yourself.
Then lock your door. 5, 6, crucifix.
You've got a big surprise coming to you. You're not going anywhere.
Welcome everybody to the Cult Classic Horror Show. Danny Bonin here with you.
And Scotty Bonin here with you guys.
We are the Blood Brothers. And Rob. And Carmelo Camira.
I'm back. That's right. You can't get rid of me.
We told Carmelo that he is allowed to finish out Pumpkinhead with us, since he started it with us, but he skipped 3, so we'll just ignore that.
Oh, son of a bitch. That's okay. That's okay.
Most people ignore Pumpkinhead 3. Why shouldn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
This movie did.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Basically. 2 and 3. So, you have to ignore 2. 2 was a bunch of its own thing, a bunch of nonsense.
Ignored all of us.
Yeah, 2 was just
nonsense.
3 wrapped it
Kids
back in.
playing in my yard. A bunch of nonsense.
I'm really not sure this is how the Hatfields and McCoys made up, though.
Well, this might be the best rendition of a Hatfield McCoy story.
No.
Yeah, all the acting was the best I've ever seen for a Hatfield and McCoy story.
Was this movie dubbed?
Maybe. For those of you,
I know what some of the minor characters might have been because it was filmed in Romania, and much like the spaghetti westerns of yesteryear, this
were
mob
also
may have
filmed in Romania.
Yeah,
Yes.
this was filmed
in Italy.
This was filmed in Romania.
Yeah, Bucharest.
Yeah, that's right. So they might have hired a lot of local people who actually didn't speak English to do some of the smaller parts and then dub them. That might actually have happened. But we'll never know because there's nothing on this movie anywhere.
There isn't.
Pumpkinhead 3 was filmed in Romania too.
Come on,
back to back with this one.
3 and this one.
Well, we're gonna blow all of.
Well, the hut looked the same to me as in part 1. So I guess they just did a really good job of recreating Haggis's hut.
Yes.
And I'm giving Rob shit because Hatfield and McCoy's is a film with Kevin Costner in it.
And Bill Paxton.
And Bill Paxton, yes.
And it was a mini series.
I know it is pretty good. It was pretty good.
It is really good. I think Carmelo said that they filmed this at the same time as
3.
As 3. So yeah, it was very strange. The old woman looked identical. I mean, usually in between films, the makeup changes, certain little things change. And no, in this one, that's what it was like. Okay, good. That's a wrap on 3. Okay, let's send Doug home and bring back out the old lady and these Romanians that don't speak any English. Yeah. But we're going to dub them over with thick Southern accents. Which kind of tricks you because you're like, well, it is a really thick Southern accent. Maybe they're just Southern. But no. There was dubbing involved in this.
They had their ability to reenact the Southern accent wasn't good enough, so they had to add the dubbing in.
Doug, you're free to go. Hold on, I'm waiting on my ride. Oh, I think I hear it coming. Cue Journey music playing while
where's that Journey?
Hop in.
I don't get how it can be cheaper to film these movies. Like some of these really low budget, terrible movies like this one is. They're like, no, we need to film it in Europe. I don't get it. I don't understand how it's cheaper than
I think it would cost more,
Mudbath, Texas, or
Yeah.
I think
Pensacola, Florida, or something.
I think the most ridiculous thing is that they film these back to back right on top of each other. Why do they have nothing to do with each other then? You usually only see that when it's a continuation. Like they filmed one back to back and they're like, all right, let's move on to part 4. That is a completely new story that, it still has Lance in it. They just keep him for like a while.
Yeah, well, they kept him there for a while. They kept the Haggis lady, Lynn Verall, and obviously Pumpkinhead, Bob Gunter. He stayed. So, they must have just stayed forever.
Well, he didn't have much work to do because a lot of Pumpkinhead was just horrible CGI.
Yeah,
it was terrible.
The Pumpkinhead costumes go through the evolution of like the Michael Myers mask. They get worse and worse and worse.
Well, so we're due for
skinnier and skinnier.
We're due for a reboot with
several reboots
with like the original costume that looks great.
Yeah, we're due for a reboot with like where Pumpkinhead comes from like a trailer park, and the people who summon him are all like rednecks.
Yeah,
long
beards,
I'm talking about?
Long hair.
Yeah, long hair. They all like heavy metal, that kind of thing.
Yeah, they cuss a lot, and they call each other.
Oh yeah.
And it turns out that Pumpkinhead isn't like this beast that you summon. He's like this adolescent kid.
Yeah.
Who's been abused. And we gotta have like an hour 45 of his backstory minimum. I'm picturing like kind of a skanky actress with not a lot of talent.
Not a lot of those running around though, Rob. Where are we gonna find that kind of actress?
I mean, somebody may have to call Sherry. See
yeah, Sherry Booth.
Yeah, and then I'm thinking because Danielle Harris definitely isn't busy, she could somehow make a cameo.
Oh, wait, we're going after Danielle Harris.
She's definitely not busy.
She could pull the skanky up, but she's a pretty good actress.
She's definitely not busy. You know what? We're giving it shit, but I would watch this movie for sure.
I would watch this. Like Rob Zombie remakes Pumpkinhead.
Oh, yeah.
I would actually watch that. The problem with Rob Zombie's movies are he thinks they're good.
They are. Let's just not. Let's just.
Let's not. This has gone too far.
There's a twist to that.
You can't deny
it might be better than,
some of his films. You can't deny some of his films.
All right,
deny all of his films?
Devil's Rejects is great.
You can't. No one can deny Devil's Rejects. That's a great movie.
I actually haven't seen that.
Ah, what?
Yeah.
Give me. Are you fucking kidding me?
It's the best one he's done.
Really? That good?
What the hell?
It's not saying.
How have you not seen Devil's Rejects? Wow.
It's
because
a funny story.
Carmelo's a very busy man.
It's a funny story.
I am. It's a funny story. I knew a girl in college who was sexually aroused by the movie House of a Thousand Corpses.
Oh.
And because of this, the whole thing freaked me out. So I decided not to watch either of those movies and distance myself.
She must not have been an attractive
I totally
woman.
understand then.
Oh, no. That's not true.
She was attractive?
Extraordinarily.
Well, why weren't you all in on that shit then? Why wouldn't you be like renting Devil's Rejects?
Because Carmelo has scruples.
Because if you watched it, you would have came right away then, and then it wouldn't have been good.
Carmelo,
it would have ruined horror and sex for me forever.
I can just picture Carmelo in college with a knapsack full of comic books, wearing some glasses. And a Superman shirt, being like, I don't like girls who are aroused by horror.
Knapsack. That's great.
I could have done with the horror movie. It was the Ouija board glued to the ceiling above her bed that really cinched it for me.
Whoa, so she was into horror then and all that. Then that's awesome.
I've been trying for years to convince friends that we should get a Ouija board, and
I won't do it.
It doesn't matter how cynical your friends are.
Right? They don't. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're like, you know what? Yeah, it's I don't
Nobody's
really.
so cynical that they'll do it.
I'll talk to like one of my best friends, like Patrick, who I've known since high school, and he is the ultimate cynic. He just is. He's not really bothered by anything. No, I watched this incredible documentary about a hunt. It's all this bullshit. Let's get a Ouija board. You know what? I've been thinking. I'm not really into that.
We did a gift exchange.
We actually had a Ouija board inside your house.
I know, in
last
my house.
Christmas, Danny. Remember, it was in your house.
We did a gift exchange with friends, and someone got a Ouija board, and right when it opened, I was like,
"Who the hell gives a gift of a Ouija board?"
That would be my wife.
It was like a joke gift, and I was like,
that would be my wife.
I was like, get that thing out of my house right now.
and our friend Kent took. He's like, I'll take it and play it. Okay, yeah, sure.
They're like, let's play. I was like, no, not in my house. You won't. I was like, get that fucking thing out of here.
Well, let's get that thing out and play it.
My wife has a rule. She said we can play with a Ouija board once in our life and not in the house, and that's it. And I actually kind of stand by it. I think it's a sensible approach.
Yeah, no,
you're just gonna go to just gonna go to some bookstore somewhere. So you need to go to one of the old popular bookstores that just don't really exist anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I have access to an abandoned building. That's exactly where I'm.
No, you don't want to go anywhere. Do you want to be the Exorcist? Because that's how you be the Exorcist. You play with the Ouija board.
Well, no, none of us are adolescent women.
You will be possessed by an adolescent woman if you play with a Ouija board. You never know what's going to happen.
Yep. I mean, those movies, Ouija, they're pretty good, actually. They're pretty freaky.
Not bad. All right, anyways.
All right, Pumpkinhead, Blood Feud, 2007.
You guys want to do the overview? Who wants to summarize?
Yeah, let's do the storyline.
Go ahead, Carmelo.
1, 2, 3,
Carmelo,
not it.
go for it, man.
1, 2, 3, not it. All right, so here's the gist, and this is going to be anemic because this movie did not have a lot going for it in the way of plot. But the gist of it is, in this one, a sheriff was the target of Pumpkinhead years ago, totally in disregard of the continuity of any of the other movies.
Yes.
And he discovered that if you were to shoot and kill the person who summons Pumpkinhead, that you can kill Pumpkinhead. So he survives the experience, which is he's the first person, I think, to do so really so early in the movie, certainly. Flash forward a few years, there is the legendary rivalry between two, as far as I'm concerned, equally sad and pathetic backwoods families, the Hatfields and McCoys. And this has a little Romeo and Juliet twist. One of the Hatfields, one of the McCoys. And frankly, I'm going to screw up their names the whole time. I can't remember which family was which. They have a little love affair going on, even though their families are at war. And one thing leads to another, and the boy's sister is killed by the rival family.
Yes,
I think he's the Hatfield, right?
Yep, the McCoy gets killed by the Hatfield sister on accident.
Well, the McCoy gets killed by a tree.
Yeah.
I hope the audience can already see why it's confusing to keep the Hatfield.
Yes.
Right? So we have the Hatfield boy in the relationship. His sister is killed.
No. Hatfield, it's the McCoy boy.
McCoy boy.
Yeah. His sister's killed because he's in love with the Hatfield girl, and the Hatfield girl brothers run the sister off in the woods, and she runs into a tree and dies.
Yeah,
got it. Okay,
Ricky and Jody.
Yeah,
Ricky and Jody. That's helpful. So Ricky then, to avenge his sister, summons Pumpkinhead, and after Pumpkinhead slaughters, a good deal of the rival family,
Hatfields.
The Hatfields, thank you. After he slaughters a good deal of Hatfields, the Hatfields and McCoys finally put their differences aside to fight Pumpkinhead, where they all valiantly die in a horrible slaughter. And then finally Ricky, has this, come to Jesus moment of what have I done? And Jody shoots Ricky and he dies and grabs Pumpkinhead and falls down a well with him. And then Lance Henriksen would be spitting in his grave, except he's still alive. The end.
Yes.
Yay! Woo!
More or less.
I mean, I'm not going to say, I don't think you're really giving this movie the credit that it deserves.
I think I give it all the
great overview for sure.
Thank you.
Which part did Kevin Costner play? Was he a Hatfield or a McCoy?
He was a Hatfield.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for straightening me out on those names. I mean, I swear to God, I saw it. It's just I can't even with these families. I don't
understand your hate for the Hatfields or the McCoys.
No, it's not really hate. It's like disdain. It's like what the hell was so special about that rivalry?
They just took the Hatfield McCoy story. I guess to be fair, this story came out before the miniseries, probably. But
is it a real are they real families?
I think it's based. It's based on a true thing.
But they were rivals for ever since, like, just after the Civil War. They were big rivals. Yeah. It was between the Kentucky border and Tennessee, I believe.
Oh, okay, the story fits better and makes more sense like where the miniseries places it, which is, in the mid to late 1800s or something. Or right?
When I was reading the description for this movie, trying to find it, I was so hoping that this movie took place in the 1800s, the 1870s.
Yeah.
But then I saw Lance Hendrickson was in. I'm like, well, that wouldn't make sense. But I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I would love some kind of timeline where Lance Hendrickson's some kind of chrononaut and he's made his way back in time. Oh, it would just be amazing.
Yeah, the story just works better when they're gunslingers and westerns, and not these hillbillies
Romanians
that are in the time. It's hard to tell where they're at because they're riding dirt bikes around, but they're dressing like it's 1890.
Yeah, it's hard to tell what time period it is. It's like what
I was wondering that myself, but I think Scotty may have hit on what would have saved this movie for me is if this had been a period piece, that would have added some flavor that would have really set it apart. Yeah. As it is, I have no idea how this timeline is supposed to work because all of this is supposed to be after Ed Harley summons Pumpkinhead, and yet the kids in this movie say like, "Oh, Ed Harley was the first man to ever summon Pumpkinhead." Well, that's not true because Ed Harley saw the Pumpkinhead when he was a kid, which is how he knew about it.
Yeah. Way back in the first one.
And I'll pretend 2 never happened because certainly the rest of these movies did. But when you get to 3,
we would like to think that 2 never happened.
We would like to think it, but then, or if it did, it certainly has nothing to do with these movies.
Yeah.
But in 4, it's not the Pumpkinhead is not the resurrected corpse from part 3.
Yeah.
And otherwise it'd be like that girl, which would have been another neat twist. If this had been like a female corpse gets reanimated as Pumpkinhead, it could have looked a little different.
Yeah, no, this actually goes back to the mythos that Pumpkinhead is an entity that is just raised. Like, this is what 2 did. 2 said Pumpkinhead... Oh, no, sorry. Never mind. 2 said Pumpkinhead is this person, this little boy that is now turned into this thing, right?
Well, yeah, but that was even more complicated. It's the little boy, but the boy is the son of Pumpkinhead.
Oh, God.
Whatever the fuck that means.
What's going on here? Okay, so now,
I hate how it didn't connect for the
for 1 and 3, Pumpkinhead is whoever was him last, who used him last. But now it's just a thing that you call up, I guess.
Yeah,
I guess unless. What this see, and I'm with Scotty. It pisses me off. It's not more connected to 3 because it could have been so easy.
Oh, yeah.
But then even if they didn't, this movie starts with a Pumpkinhead massacre going on, and the sheriff survives it, and they could have made that summoner the Pumpkinhead. Even within this same movie, they could have been like, "Oh yes, this Pumpkinhead is the corpse of that guy that the sheriff shot in the stomach in the beginning."
Yeah.
Right. So even within this own movie, they could have done something like that, and they didn't bother to.
No. I think it had the original music though. Did you guys catch that?
Oh, good catch. No.
Yeah, I think it was in the beginning. It was that it's that Western kind of TNT Western music, like they would probably play on Renegade.
Oh, Renegade was.
Yeah, Renegade.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I caught
or
that.
Walker, Texas Ranger, or something like that.
No, Renegade.
Yeah, Renegade's probably more on there.
Salamis, whatever his name is.
Lorenzo Lamas.
They
right. I just have notes on ridiculousness here because there isn't a lot in this movie. But after they go ahead and they crash the wedding in the beginning, the Hatfields crash the McCoy wedding. They, just start a big fight and beat people up. And then they go home after that and they get out of the truck. And it's like the director was like, okay, everyone just jump out and just woo. Like, everyone just say woo and just don't stop saying woo till I say cut. And that's all it was.
We need all the woos here, people.
They're like, woo, 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 as they walked into the house. Yeah, it was a little ridiculous. And then I'm used to hearing of this feud and the miniseries and it being like a multi-generation feud spanning many years. And so I thought they would at least follow that same storyline, like, oh, the feud was started by our great grandfather after the Civil War, like Rob was saying, but no, it was they just made it up on their own. It basically started 50 years ago when their 60-year-old uncle got hit by a car.
This definitely has the stink of of like a Hellraiser Part 12 on it. Like we got this idea for a Hatfield and McCoy movie. Oh shit. Costner and Paxton are doing a miniseries? Okay. Let's
shit.
Whoa, they're still on site filming Pumpkinhead 3. Okay, somebody call Lance. Just call Lance.
We better get on this before they do.
Somebody call Lance. No.
I'll do you one better. They showed up expecting this to be a Hellraiser sequel because they heard Doug Bradley was filming Romania. Only to arrive on set and find out that he'd been sent home and it was a Pumpkinhead movie after all.
Yeah.
Yep. They're like, where'd Doug go? And they said, collectively, he has cost production an extra $2 million. So he has been sent home.
So he has been nixed from this movie. Yes.
The toilets have been clogged with paper towels.
All of our keys are missing.
All of our keys are gone. The spike.
I can't even drive my car home.
Every drinkable liquid has been spiked.
Half the crew abandoned after they'd all been drugged with LSD.
Yep.
Yes.
Everyone's shoes are gone. Our shoes are taken.
One shoe from everyone's pair of shoes are taken.
Bob Beecher won't take off the Pumpkinhead costume now. He's
I got
personified. It's been super glued together by Doug.
Yes.
That's what happened. Doug stole the Pumpkinhead costume, and that's why they had to CGI the rest of it.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyways,
didn't they film a Hellraiser back to back too? Didn't they film like Hellraiser 5 and 6 back to back or something? I thought they did that too. I'm not sure.
I think it was like 7 and 8.
Maybe it was 7 and 8.
They did Hell World and the other one back to back.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I was thinking.
So after they come home, blah blah, we find out about this romance between Jody and Ricky, and then Jody sneaks out to go see Ricky, and on her way out, the uncle who's crippled sees her, and then he's the whole reason the feud started in the first place.
Jesus, he's not crippled; he's handy-capable.
Handy-capable.
You're trying to get this podcast flagged.
The crippled, no good, handicapped.
Oh, Jesus.
Handy-enabled.
Good for nothing. Might as well.
Handy-enabled. That's even better than handy-capable.
Might as well have just died when it happened. Crippled guy, is why the feud started, and he sees her leave and is like, whatever, she's in love, haha. And then the two brothers come out and like threaten to beat him if they don't tell her where the girl went. Like there's no respect there.
This is old Southern justice right here.
There's no respect for your elders.
You go and you shake down the cripple uncle, the handy-capable uncle.
Yeah.
And you get him to know where your sister is because she's yours. And you can't be having nobody else ruining your sister and them good birthing hips.
Yeah, you can't. You don't want anyone else screwing out with your sister if you can,
He did make the comment that, they just want me to marry some cousin, but I want to be with Jody. Yeah.
Dan.
I mean, I
know Rob's family is built up on that, but
Yes, no, for sure.
Yeah, the incest is it's not frowned upon at all.
We're trying to keep these genes as close to the vest as possible.
Yeah. The whole I don't like Ricky as a character. He's just an asshole. And I mean, I hate him as soon as everything starts happening. His sister dies like that. They drag him down the thing. All this is Stella's fucking screaming in the background.
What did you do to her?
I don't know what's going on. Anyways, this whole thing is all his fault. It's like you just had to have your stupid little romance. Now your sister's dead. You're being dragged behind a truck, and it's like grow up.
No. Yeah, and he's one of the only, I guess this is kind of neat, he's one of the only characters in any movie to enjoy the Pumpkinhead killings, because the summoner tends to experience the murder that goes on, and usually in like a painful, horrible way. But in this, Ricky feels these revenge waves or whatever, and he likes it, and he looks like he's enjoying it. So
he's getting a vengeance boner.
Yeah, exactly what it is. It's like a vengeance boner, and he's the only person to like it, and it makes him a lot less sympathetic. I think if they'd shown him maybe grieving a lot more, might have made me more sympathetic to wanting revenge for the sister, but I don't I don't know.
Yep. He didn't sell us.
Sorry, you guys.
Bradley Taylor.
You guys talk for a second.
Horrible.
I'm going to go reprimand. Give my daughter the backhand. I'm just
you're gonna give her the Burt Young.
The Burt Young, yeah, the Burt Young. No, it's mainly the wife. It's like, keep the kid quiet.
That really is giving the Burt Young.
I know the wives don't listen to this podcast, so it could be a lot less filtered. I got something while Danny steps away for a minute. Something's bothering me. I can get off my chest.
Please.
So this frustrates me. Let me know if you feel this way. I think Lance Henriksen is playing like two different characters between the first Pumpkinhead and now. I think.
Oh yeah.
I remember his acting is one of the things that sells me on the first one, right? You feel both his sadness as well as his remorse, but he plays Ed Harley like a simple guy. I'm not saying he plays him like dumb, but he plays him as like a guy who probably, never finished high school, because why did he need to? He lived in this little town and he had his little shop. It was probably a family business, and he goes about his business as this sweet, innocent guy. That's how, I think of Ed Harley. And in this, he just plays Lance Henriksen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he's
I
just...
completely agree.
Yeah, and
you
don't see him as much, too, and it's kind of a bummer.
He's experienced.
Whoa.
He's matured.
You put Shannon in line really well.
Wow, I know.
Wow, you got that quick.
All you have to do is give him that certain look and raise your hand slightly, and they know.
And then give them a high five with that raised hand.
Yeah. Yes.
Not Burt Young.
Yep, exactly.
I guess they could say Ed's become experienced as a ghost, but I don't know, part of what made Ed likable is that he's not this sinister, calculating revenge getter. He's like this innocent guy who's kind of way in over his head. And I think that's what I liked about him in the original. I love Lance Henriksen, and I could watch him read out of the freaking phone book. He's so engaging. But that's just what he did for Pumpkinhead 3 and 4, is he just kind of showed up and was himself. And,
I think he was. I don't think he probably saw the script. I know he saw this. He probably saw the script and was like, "Look, these don't have anything to do with each other. This franchise is going to hell. Where's the check?"
Right. Yeah.
I think, and I said in the last podcast, he was disappointed in Pumpkinhead 3 overall, just with the movie and just with his character and stuff. So I think he was already signed the contract for Pumpkinhead 4. He was there already in Bucharest. He's like, well, fuck, I'm already here. I gotta do it. So
I'm sure that's how they get you. He is already. It's like, Lance, come on, you're already in Romania.
Yeah.
Right. You've flown to Bucharest.
Yeah.
I mean, do you really want to fly the coach seats that we got you back to the States?
Yeah.
Just do 4 and we'll upgrade you.
Yeah.
And it'd be like 3 or 4 days of shooting. You go talk to the old lady. The old lady talks to you. We bring up stuff that happened in the movie that was actually good. And then you just go about your way.
Yeah.
And this was 19 years later from the first one, so he's probably like, fuck this, damn it.
They had to do some pickup shots at the end with him on a green screen, because obviously he's just not there.
Right.
I don't know if that was supposed to be like that because he's getting weaker as a spirit or something, or if they're just like, oh fuck, we got to get these shots.
Yeah, it was like Skype video or something.
Yeah.
Mad green screen.
Yeah. No, don't raise the Pumpkinhead. Boogity boogity. Oh, he belongs in hell. Something.
They called him.
Everybody knows I was in Aliens, right?
Yeah.
I'm friends with James Cameron.
Yeah.
I still have his number somewhere.
We
text all the time.
They call him up and they're like, they Skype him. Hey Lance, we forgot these shots. Can we schedule a time that we can get them? Hold on. Can we just do it right now? Oh, sure. Yeah, give me just a second. Give me just a second. Don't raise Pumpkinhead. Got it. Ready.
Yep.
Yep.
That's how they happened.
That's exactly.
They did have their. It seems like every horror film around this time. I say around this time. This is actually towards the latter end of this statement. But they had their obligatory burning man or man on fire in this film.
Yeah, you always got to have one.
Yeah, to show your production value, I think you always got to have a guy on fire in the movie.
Oh, of course.
So I don't know who it was, but there's probably like 3 guys in Hollywood that were just raking it in from like 85 to 98.
Yeah, those guys talk about it like the Great Recession, like, and then one day there was just no work. And then, you know, I mean,
one day I'm just doing fucking 5-year-old birthday parties.
Yep, and then, you know, that's when the divorce happened, and you know, it's just really been downhill from here.
Goodness sakes!
God, that stung the ears.
Speaking of on fire, my ears are now just pus-filled, fire-breathing orifices. I got nothing.
Yeah,
Gross.
Fire-breathing orifices.
Yes.
I love that.
That means it's time for the horror halftime.
Pretty good.
All right. Yeah, no theme. Where's the theme song at?
I didn't.
We have a theme song for the
soundboard's
Well,
broken.
Rob just sometimes decides to do it. It's the same as the Rocky theme song.
But it's a little bit different. It's more about like it's Rocky theme song mixed with Price is Right.
All right. Anyways, there is a horror freak of the week, so drum roll, please. The horror freak of the week is Will Greer. Will Greer, you are the horror
Will Greer
freak of the week because you are a newcomer to participate in the horror halftime with a pretty funny Hellraiser meme. I will say my favorite meme. I love Kyle Trombley's meme about Pinhead tearing up your driveway with an IROC.
That was very good.
I will say, I would have thought it would. I think it would be a little funnier if Pinhead was in the passenger seat or hanging out the sunroof, and Thornberry was driving.
It's still very, very good.
But it's still very good. It is really good.
I know this. Robert O'Neill had a pretty good one. I don't know.
But I'm being discriminated against.
His isn't even showing up when I search the group.
Pretty bad, but pretty close or shitty, whatever. That was good.
David Martin had a good one. So yeah, Will Greer, shoot us a message on the page, and I'll send you a shirt. Give me your address, shirt size, and we'll get you taken care of.
Christopher Elswick had a good one too. There's a couple of good ones.
And to all our listeners, if you want to be the horror freak of the week, make sure to go to the Facebook group and put create your meme for Pumpkinhead 4 and make sure to put the hashtag horror halftime in there so we can see it.
Yeah.
And you could be the horror freak of the week.
I don't know if mine are
some free stuff.
If they're all showing up for me. I mean, maybe I got to refresh it again. But
I just assume we're going to have so many new listeners for Pumpkinhead 4 on account of this being such a beloved and iconic film that I felt we had to.
We get really high views and stuff on some of the most obscure episodes.
Yes. Yes. So get your memes in. Do that. Before we end the horror halftime, I almost totally forgot about this. I wanted to hand it over to Carmelo. We have a comic series. Since Carmelo's the comic guy, I had a request to sort of plug a horror comic series. And I said, oh, hey, Carmelo's going to be on the episode. That'll work out great. I'll have Carmelo take a look, and then we'll just do a quick little thing here. So, Carmelo, if you just want to give it like a quick 30-second thing and let people know about it, do it.
Yeah, so perfect for Pumpkinhead. This comic is called Blood and Gourd, and it comes to us from Jens K. Lund, apologies if I mispronounced the name, and Dead Peasant Publications. Blood and Gourd is a horror comic book that's is indie published, very successful on Kickstarter. They have 3 issues that you can find on WeBleedHalloween.com. It's sort of Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, but with pumpkins, and but like much more gory and frightening. I think like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes only in the sense that it's fruit that try to kill you. But that was, that's obviously very like a silly movie. This is still fun, right? It's still pumpkins killing people, so it's fun, but it's at the same time is like way gorier and way scarier than you think it should be. I liked it a lot. I had the pleasure of reading the first issue. There's 3 issues available, and we got a review copy of the first one. They're giant size comics, so I think they're well worth the price. Normal comics are only like 22 pages plus ads. This had no ads, and it was a solid 50 pages. And I really think the artwork is noteworthy. For you comic fans, you'll understand what I mean. But the storytelling is very fluid, and I like the panel composition. I think the artwork is it's fun but still gory, and it was very exciting for one issue. You expect to be a lot of setup, but there was a lot of payoff in just this first one. So if you want to check it out, WeBleedHalloween.com.
Sweet,
nice, heck yeah!
All right, that will. Yeah, that was awesome. Cool. So check them out, and let's get back to it. So that concludes the horror halftime. All right.
Beauty.
Yes. What was my next note?
This was also a sci-fi. It premiered on Sci-Fi the year after 2000 or Pumpkinhead 3. So it was a straight to video release, of course, too. So Sci-Fi love these movies.
What I don't get is if they were going to do this, they were going to commit this much money to Pumpkinhead, and this is to Scotty's earlier point of like, why don't these movies connect? If they were going to do them back to back, then make them connect. And if they're not going to make them connect, then they should have just used the budget of both movies to make one good movie.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
But this is cable television.
Yeah, sadly. I mean, I don't think either Pumpkinhead 3 or 4 was so bad that they weren't fixable. I mean, they had the bones of a good story. They had the bones of obviously, a very cool creature and backstory with a little polishing on the script, a little bit better, effects in terms of the CGI they relied on too much.
Yeah.
And then some better actors. And I think you really could have sold me both these movies. I actually like 4 better than 3. I don't know how you guys felt about it, but I think 4 was better than 3.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I think 4 will be better than 3 because I'm going to go back and rewatch the Hatfields and the McCoys with Kevin Costner and Bill Paxton.
Oh,
yeah. I could argue that.
So it did that for me. So I thank it. It's kind of like watching. It's kind of like watching like an awful like one of like the Halloween sequels, like Part 5 or Part 4. And they're terrible, but you're like, I kind of want to watch a good Halloween movie now. So you kind of have to like thank them for that. Like, you reminded me there are better versions of this out there. I can go back.
I don't know how premiering on Sci-Fi they got away with the line, "Charlie, you faggot."
It was a different time. Yeah. It was a different time.
It is cable television. I mean,
this is when Sci-Fi was SCIFI instead of SYFY.
Oh, really? This is like pre the new brand and all that.
Yeah, it was pre. Yeah, exactly.
Man, that's when Sci-Fi was rogue. That was when they were good. They were edgy.
Yeah, I know.
Were they good?
So it's like the first 2 seasons of Teen Mom were really good, and then MTV just got too soft.
We all know the type of shows you watch, Rob. That's true.
Yeah, Teen Mom. Teen Mom's amazing.
Mom, Jersey Shore. I mean, the list goes on. You probably watched Real World Battle of the Sexes.
No, I never watched The Real World. I don't know. It just never caught my eye.
Laguna Beach, whatever else they have.
Yeah, I like this one had some decent gore in it, and I liked Lance in this a little bit better than the third one. So I don't know. I don't know which one I like better.
I want to know how much of the budget Lance Hendrickson ate up in these movies.
Yeah, I probably not too much.
I hope a ton.
I guess we didn't see Doug Bradley though.
Yeah,
I think Lance Hendrickson calls for a lot lot more money than Doug Bradley.
Yeah, I do
just
too.
My opinion, but
for sure,
Doug Bradley's not a very good actor, so you're just paying for the Hellraiser name, which is something, But
he was a nice touch to the third one. I don't mean to step on Doug Bradley too much. It's just I think the creature actually looked better in this one. Obviously the CGI in both is garbage, but when it was not CGI, I thought the creature looked pretty good.
I don't like how
better than the third for sure.
The first one was just perfect. I don't know how you have something like the first one and you're like, no, we need to change it and make it look. I don't know. It's not as aggressive looking. It looks kind of dumb.
I liked the guy that cuts off his own leg, but while he's doing it,
instead of opening the bear trap, he saws his own leg off.
Well, then while he's sawing his leg off, it's like he just like you've got a paper cut. He's like, oh,
It's screaming
bloody murder.
Yeah. I'm like, no, he would be passed out or screaming his head off.
Yeah.
That one, that's just all part of my note here about horrible acting. Also around that time is where the sheriff is trying to stop them from going to burn down the McCoy's house. He's like, you don't know, it's Pumpkinhead. Just this whole sequence has horrible acting. And then the brother like taps him on the head with the shotgun to knock him out.
For a second there, I thought he had shot him in the head with the shotgun because he hit the ground so aggressively.
I know. And he just like,
oh my God,
taps him
that
on the
guy
head.
killed the sheriff.
I shot the sheriff.
Sheriff Dallas Pope.
Didn't shoot the deputy.
Yeah, it was bad. It was just, he tapped him on the head, he just falls right on the ground. And then the house gets completely engulfed in flames from these beer-filled Molotov cocktails or whatever they are. And like engulfed in flame. Like this house just starts, it's like it was already drenched with gasoline.
I will say, I will give them props to actually lighting a house on fire. I was expecting like CGI fire.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, it's probably how they paid for the movie, is they took out an insurance policy on this house, burned it down, and then boom.
Well, my qualm is that you light this entire place just aggressively on fire, but then the mom is still just fine in her room and there's not much fire in there, and Jody's able to go in the house and get the mom out still. It's like no. That house was a goner.
Yeah, there's no one living.
And then when she drives the truck into the house, you just have like straight out of Cruisin' USA, second reference in the last 3 episodes, by the way. Straight out of Cruisin' USA, start menu tire squeal sounds. I thought it was hilarious.
I love Cruisin' USA.
Oh yeah, it's always in the arcade section at like Old Chicago.
Oh yeah,
which you don't have, right, Rob? No Old Chicago.
No, we don't have Old Chicago.
Do you have Old Chicago in Chicago, Carmelo?
We do not. We have Chicago everywhere, but no, I do not have Old Chicago.
There's not an Old Chicago's in Chicago?
I think it's like a Midwest Colorado thing.
Oh, they have such good pizza and food.
They have really good pizza.
Yeah.
Well, you could find like Cruisin' USA. You could find like Dave and Buster's. Do you guys have a Dave and Buster's down there?
We do.
No.
Yeah, so you have it's like an arcade and dinner.
Rob
place.
has neighbors named Dave and Buster.
Dave and Buster.
Sure. And Billy Joe and Mary Sue and
yeah.
And I mean, that's the other thing. I don't remember Pumpkinhead being like as white trash as these sequels are. Though I don't know why.
Because I don't think it is. I think the sequels are way more white trash than.
I mean, Lance Hendrickson was just like the old shop clerk.
I mean, he was pretty raunchy. He was pretty dirty.
But I mean, like, I don't really remember it being like this blatantly bad.
Well, the vocabulary and the acting weren't. So I think when you mix hillbilly with bad acting, it's just a train wreck.
Yeah.
When you have a bad actor and you're like, now talk like you're a hillbilly, and they go, talk like a hillbilly in a car.
That's right. And then when you're like in Bucharest and hillbilly is like their second language, it's even worse.
Yeah.
I also, with the burning house, thought it was dumb that they all throw the things to burn the house down and then immediately help to get the mom out.
Yeah. Like, oops.
What, you didn't think someone was going to get like burned in a fire? Are you kidding me?
Exactly. Those were all my notes of my, and then I have superimposed Lance, but we already talked about that.
I got one other thing for you then. I think this whole returning of the car bullshit is such a fucking crock. It sucked.
To make amends?
I mean, in the first place, to make amends. In the second place, to make amends years after the amends was withheld.
Yeah.
So, I know it's stupid and confusing. For the people who didn't see the movie, after the rivalry starts, because one family's car runs, the first car in town, hits the uncle and paralyzes the uncle from the other family, and they're supposed to give up the car to make amends, and then they never do. But toward the end of the movie, They finally deliver the car and make amends. And it's like, I guess I'm okay with it as a symbol of like the olive branch sort of thing, is just like symbolic gesture. But it really just kind of patches everything up. And it's supposed to dovetail with this fire, and that's supposed to be how we come to understand that they've forgiven each other. But like we just pointed out, the fire is stupid. So or at least teaming up to save the mother from the fire is stupid. So it just doesn't. None of that really works. Oh, and I got one other thing. Does anyone bored with how Pumpkinhead kills people? He just like slashes.
Yeah, it's like slow motion sometimes. It's like, wait, what?
Like,
you could jump out of the way of that.
Easily have like thrown someone into a wood chipper or something unique, you know.
Well, and he just like, I thought that when he was turning the knife around and putting it back in that guy's mouth, I was like, like a man could do that, you know.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, it was kind of lame. I'm gonna have to be honest. This is not as bad as 3, but I mean, Pumpkinhead is. I never knew there were sequels. But I've always liked Pumpkinhead. Mm-hmm. I've always kind of thought that it was a very good kind of. It's not necessarily unheard of, but it's not on. It's not on many people's like top 10 list. And I've always really enjoyed Pumpkinhead until these. It's like,
well, at least we know the first one's good. But
thankfully, the first one is good, and it's easy to destroy these right here because I mean they're sci-fi originals, but. It is still kind of shocking that you had something as good as Pumpkinhead in the first one was good, kind of like The Howling, and you just we're like, nah, we're gonna walk away from that. We're really not interested in carrying on this awesome storyline.
Yeah, I know what you mean, and unfortunately, I think it happens a lot in horror. I think it's just the quick cash in for the sequel, and I think the people making them don't understand how seriously we take this stuff. I think we you know what I mean. We're all sitting here. I don't think any of us is the biggest Pumpkinhead fan in the world, and we were all about the lore, and we were all about the Pumpkinhead is the corpse of the last person to summon it. And, And we're all disappointed. So it's like, I don't even need like Marvel Cinematic Universe level continuity. I just need some lore that I can get behind and then hopefully expand upon. And if you think about it, not a lot of horror franchises do that.
No.
Yeah, because it's like we have to watch a different movie every time with rather than following the whole series. And
just Evil Dead.
Yeah,
just Evil Dead, exactly.
Sticks to its guns. You got the Book of the Dead, and that's all that happens.
Yeah,
which is why I like Ash vs. Evil Dead so much, because it does expand on the lore and it doesn't ignore the lore, and it sort of puts it all together in a way that respects the fact that we give a shit about this little indie movie from all these years ago. I like that. We take this shit seriously, so the creators sure should.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For sure.
No, I think a lot of it is like what you're saying. That it's just it's the horror genre in general. It's easy to cash in on.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like they're not really. Well, I mean, the thing is that as horror fans, we've kind of done it to ourselves because, it's like, oh man, Halloween 4 or whatever was terrible, but 5's going to be good. It's like, well, it's probably not. It's like they don't really get better. We really don't get better with sequels.
It's true.
But all of us are in line to see the next one, or even if we're not in line,
so we're paying for it. They're making the money,
Yeah,
sequels, the remakes, the whatever, the prequels.
There are obviously exceptions,
but there are, and those are often well-loved movies, right? How many people love Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors, right? That movie's great.
Yeah.
And it's the first one that actually expands on the lore. It brings back Nancy, and surprise, right? That's the
Freddy's backstory and his how he was raised and all that.
Right. And see how it adds to the backstory without
was that I thought that was Dreamchild. That's how he's.
No. They mentioned the bastard son of 1,000.
Oh, do they in 3?
Yeah, because they bring the mom back and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And sometimes the remakes. I mean, the classic example. I think everyone in every horror community can agree that the Hills Have Eyes remake is like way better than the first one.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Yes.
Oh, without doubt.
That's one of like my top 10 favorite horror movies.
Yeah, it's such a good
really
movie.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, and then you get that too. Yeah, the remake will sometimes be better. But
yeah. So cool.
We all love the Evil Dead remake.
Yeah, that one's a popular one too. Which I'm not going to say I like it better than the original, but it's a well done remake. It's a really good movie.
Extremely good.
Yeah, and I think what happens with remakes a lot is, and the reason a lot of them are very good, even though people tend to be purists, is because now someone who gave a shit like us, who saw these Pumpkinhead movies and said it's bullshit that they ignored the lore, then that person gets to come back and remake it, and maybe has more of a fondness for it than the people who did it in the first damn place.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No. Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. So, cool. I think that I know it's a little bit shorter, but we don't have a ton of facts. I think that wraps up.
TV movies like that sometimes don't.
I don't know what we're doing next. We'll figure that out. You know what? I wanted to do House, and I wanted to buy that set on Arrow Video that people have been posting about, but it's only in the UK.
Were we?
Oh, no.
Weren't we gonna do Killer Clowns from Outer Space?
Yeah. No, you know what? Yeah. We will. We'll do that next.
We should do that because that was.
It was on the poll. It was an unofficial poll, but it had a lot of votes, so we'll do it.
So yeah, we should do
Killer Clowns. So next week, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. We will. Are there multiples of those? I'll have to look.
I'm pretty sure there are.
All right. Well, we'll look into it, and I'll look at getting a special edition Blu-ray with all the extras and. We'll delve into that next, even though I'm not a huge fan of clown movies because I don't think they're scary at all. But that's okay. This is going to be.
Is there a lot of those? I thought it was just the one movie.
Maybe. We'll find out.
I'm not sure. I think it probably is just the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the one.
Well, let me know if the House box set becomes available in the U.S. from Arrow Video. Anyone who follows them closely. Or Jonathan Brindle in the U.K. Just, pick it up and then ship it to me. Okay?
There you go.
Okay. Hey, I just looked. Sorry, there's the Return of the Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Okay.
That's 2013. So we can see about that. Whatever.
I guess real quick, what did you watch?
What did you watch?
I actually didn't watch anything this week. I watched Murder Mystery, but that's not horror. That's just a goofy Adam Sandler movie.
I also watched Murder Mystery.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh,
it was great.
It's a fun, funny movie, but it's also, I think, the first movie where now I'm noticing that Jennifer Aniston is old and doesn't look as hot as she used to.
Yeah.
That
happens when you get old.
It's just they put her in these tiny dresses that you're supposed to put like 25-year-olds in. I don't think it worked.
No, I kind of said the same thing. I kind of said the same thing about Sandra Bullock, and I was destroyed for it.
Rightly so.
Although I will say that, like 10 years ago, I wouldn't think I would say it, but Sandra Bullock is beating Jennifer Aniston.
I like Bullock. I like Aniston too, though. But I like.
Yeah, she's great.
Aging.
She's just
they both age.
She's aged out of my range.
Yeah, I'd still go for Aniston.
Sorry, Carmelo. Obviously,
I watched a few movies. I watched Devil's Candy.
Oh yeah, that's a classic.
Yep.
Dude, love Devil's Candy.
I love that movie.
Did you like it?
I did. I thought it was really scary. It really bothered me.
Yeah. Ethan Embry kills it in that.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't believe it was him. I did a double take.
I know.
He's like super cut and super cool in it. It's great.
Yeah.
And I watched Hell House LLC, which I also really liked. That one, actually, I heard some noises the night after I went to bed after watching that. I heard some noises in the house that freaked me out.
It's creepy.
I need to watch that still.
I still have never seen that.
Yep.
I think you'd enjoy it.
I haven't seen it either. I want to see it.
Danny and I were talking about it a little earlier in the week, but I think the reason it's good is because it doesn't try to do too much. It doesn't have – I assume it doesn't have the budget for like crazy creature effects or like really elaborate kills or set pieces. But what it does – so it relies entirely on like camera tricks. But then that's what made it good, right? They focused on staying in their lane and then doing that well. And I think a lot of indie movies, they maybe want to do this dream project that they don't have the resources for yet. So they end up making something that's kind of silly and doesn't work.
Pumpkinhead 4.
Yeah, there you go. So, Hell House LLC, I don't think there's anything where visually I was like, holy smokes, how'd they do that? But good, because if they had and they pulled it off wrong, then it would have looked stupid and ruined the whole thing. So that's how I feel.
Yeah.
Nice. And where's that movie on? That's on Prime.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yep, got it.
Amazon Prime. And then before we go, we should throw in a plug for next week, right, Danny?
Yeah. Well, first of all, you didn't watch anything, Rob?
I rewatched The Witch.
Oh yeah.
And I actually liked it. The first time I saw it, I didn't really like it.
Yeah, I need to rewatch it.
I think the first time I saw it, it was advertised as more of a typical horror movie, and I didn't really like it too much. But it's on Netflix, and I rewatched it, and I don't know, maybe just you had to be in the mood to watch something like that, and it actually, even though I knew what was going to happen, it was creepy. It actually had some really good moments, and I like it. It definitely it's up there for me now.
Cool. Yeah. So before
I didn't watch anything, by the way.
Oh yeah. Well, before we sign off, we sort of mentioned it last week, but we are launching our Kickstarter on the 25th. That's this coming Tuesday, I believe.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're launching our Kickstarter for She Walks the Woods. We'd really appreciate if you guys can help us out. The best way to, at this very moment, to go be a part of that is to go to shewalksthewoods.com. Throw in your email. You'll get to see the opening scene of the movie and a commentary with us. And then we'll be updating you guys first about everything that's happening, because we're going to have some early bird specials. I remembered the term early bird.
That's right. Yeah,
early bird specials.
We're going to have some early bird specials in the first 3 days of launch that you're not going to want to miss. It's going to be some awesome incentives to get in only in those first 3 days. So you're going to want to do that. The best way to know about that, we'll of course post about it and everything, but you might miss that. So you want to get on the email list and you want to get an email about that. So awesome incentives. It'll help us out a lot to really get eyes on this. We have found a distribution company that it's not signed yet, but I think we're going to go with them. That will put the film on tons of VOD platforms, most notably Amazon Prime in like 64 different countries. So we will be rolling that out soon enough. And once it's rolled out, we want to have the funds to run ads, run advertising, do marketing, get it on blogs and things, and get eyes on it. So that's where this Kickstarter is really going to be key for us. Otherwise, it's just going to sit there and no one's going to see it. So, really appreciate that. SheWalksTheWoods.com, enter your email, and you will be updated right when we go live. And even leading up to going live, you'll get some previews of some of the incentives and things like that. All right?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Beautiful,
Did I
guys.
miss anything, Carmelo?
No, man, you nailed it. You don't need me anymore.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thanks for joining us, Carmelo.
Thank you for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Always a pleasure.
I love doing this, having a foursome with you guys.
Yeah, foursomes are awesome.
Make sure you follow Carmelo at Chimera's Comics. There, you have a Facebook group, right, called Chimera's Comics?
Yep, the Chimera's Comics community on Facebook, and you can keep up with us on Facebook. Or I have an email list as well where I send cool shit out. You can always just keep in touch with me there.
Sweet. Follow us at Danny Bonin, at Scotty Bonin, at O'Neilio with 4 O's on Insta. I guess it's at Danny B and Scotty B on Facebook now.
Yep.
That's B-E-E, like a B. Bzz. And then at Cult Classic Horror on everything except at CC Horror on Twitter. Patreon.com/Cult Classic Horror if you want access to some bonus material and you want to support what we're doing. We really appreciate that. Thanks you guys. Get ready for Killer Clowns from Outer Space next week. Get your memes in from this episode. And we'll catch you next week.
Later, guys.
Don't you blame the movies. Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative.
Oh, yes. There will be blood.